But not every Republican or conservative is at National Harbor for CPAC. There's another conference going on, the annual Principles First Summit, which starts tomorrow at the JW Marriott in D.C. Heath Mayo is the founder of Principles First. He's up late with me tonight on the Final Five. Hey, thanks for coming in tonight. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
What is Principles First?
Principles First really is a group of really grassroots Americans all around the country who really just want to inject a level of seriousness and substance back into our politics. I think we're just sort of exhausted with just the chaos and the incompetence and just the day in and day out nonsense that we see out of our leaders. And so the idea really is to put principles before these personalities and even parties to say, let's get back and focus the country on what it really means to be an American. Limited government, the Constitution, rule of law, all of those things that really made the country what it is today. I think that's what Principles First is all about.
So you founded the group. How do you describe yourself politically?
I mean, I was card-carrying Republican. I mean, I spent years going to CPAC, quite frankly, until about 2015, 2016, when the party started to veer in this sort of chaotic direction. But I'm a sort of I believe in limited government. I believe in individual responsibility. I believe in the power of the American dream. That's the country I grew up in that gave me all the opportunities that I've had. And it's just a shame to see what the Republican Party once was fall into what it's become today.
All right, so what will you be doing this weekend? I mean, clearly you have chainsaws at the ready for this?
We do not have chainsaws. We do not have gold statues of people wheeling around in the hallways. We have 15 principles that we have that we'll be focused on. But no, we're looking forward to a big sold-out audience. We got over 1,000 people coming from around the country. The energy is going to be high, I think, because people are so frustrated with the current leadership in Washington, talking about the key issues that the country faces for a serious discussion about where we're going.
We mentioned, we said not every conservative, not every Republican is at CPAC. I think if you were a Democrat or somebody who ran for office as a Democrat and you show up there and you didn't necessarily say, hey, I pledge your fealty to the Trump cause, you would not be welcome there. But you have a pretty wide group of people speaking.
That's right. We got everybody from Jared Polis. He's the Democratic governor of Colorado. He's done a lot of innovative things in that state to really push back against the establishment of the Democratic Party in ways to innovate and lower the cost of housing. We've got Mark Cuban, who's with Cost Plus Drugs, is really innovating and disrupting the healthcare space. So all the way from that guy to John Bolton, people who actually had worked in the first Trump administration and is sounding the alarm bells.
Do you feel, though, that there are people now in what is the establishment Republican Party that when you speak out, like John Bolton has been very vocal, served under President Trump in the first administration, that they say you're not a true conservative, you're not a true Republican if you aren't supporting what's happening over at National Harbor?
I think so. I mean, look, we're clear-eyed about this. I mean, the Republican Party has made its choice in some way. It's an isolationist party. It's sort of fallen in rank and file right behind Donald Trump. And that really is the standard of what it takes to be a good Republican. We obviously disagree that should be the standard. We want to invite that policy debate because, look, we think there's a lot of things that they get wrong. This idea that Ukraine started the war and the fact that we're going to pull back from NATO, that's dangerous for America's interests, not just abroad, but here in the United States. Tariffs, also a bad idea. It's going to drive up consumer prices. So there's a lot of bad ideas that this has led to.
So I'm glad you mentioned Jared Polis because he is a man, too, who got some ire from Democrats over the last couple of months because he signaled some interest in working with the incoming administration on certain causes. He wasn't necessarily vociferously opposed to RFK Jr. running HHS because of some of the things. And look, I've had Democrats on the show who have said RFK speaks to them in some facets, not everything out there. Speaking of the body politic nationally, it seems as though there is a lot of that territorialism where if you do not toe the party line, a lot of people don't want anything to do with you.
That's right. And I think that's our challenge, I think, as Americans, number one, even setting aside politics. Yeah. But then as we look at our government, we really have to start talking to each other again, figuring out how to put the focus back on the substance of the challenges that we face. Because if it just stays this partisan game of what team are you on and who do you pledge your loyalty to, we're going to continue to see the challenges that we have getting worse and worse because they're not focused on fixing them. They're focused on, people go to Washington, they want to get famous, or they want to start a podcast or something.
Yeah.
They don't want to bring down the cost of prescription drugs. They don't want to, make groceries more affordable for the average family. That's not solving the problems that Americans face. And so we need competent, serious leaders in Washington who care about actually fixing those problems.
I know you had a lot of interest, but people want more information about what you're doing. Where can they go?
Principlesfirst.us is our website. People can go there. Unfortunately, we're sold out this weekend. There's a wait list if folks want to get on it, but it's going to be a great time. But principlesfirst.us, we're obviously on all of the social media channels and apps, whatever they are these days, but you can find us there.
It's a good problem to have, I guess, when you sell it out. Heath, great meeting you. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
We appreciate
Absolutely.
you. And the Final Five is back after this.